Good morning, students. Here we start with the gross anatomy lecture of the horizontal disposition of the peritoneum above the transverse colon. Now here, horizontal disposition above the transverse colon. And above the transverse colon, today we are going to discuss the horizontal disposition at the level of epiploic foramen. So this will be at the level of epiploic foramen. These two titles are very important at the level of epiploic foramen, horizontal disposition. For that, we will draw over here, this will be the cross section of the trunk, and in the cross section, we are going to draw the transverse section of various structures in which we are going to understand the horizontal disposition of the peritoneum. And for that, this posterior abdominal wall, here we shall slightly prolong it. Now over here inside we are going to show the cross section of lever. So this will be the cross section of the lever, and after drawing the lever we are going to draw over here, there will be the cross section of stomach. This is the cross section of the stomach. Then we are going to draw over here the cross section of spleen, and in the spleen we are going to show this way the entire spleen, and then we are going to draw in the posterior abdominal wall left and right kidney. So therefore here we are going to show this as the left kidney, and over here we are going to show this as the right kidney. Now we are going to show the inferior vena cava slightly on the right side. Here we are going to show this will be the inferior vena cava, and we are going to show slightly on the left side, this we are going to show the aorta, and then we are going to show these are the branches of aorta passing in the kidney, and these are the branches of vena cava which are passing in the kidneys. Very simple, entire cross section. Now we start with the horizontal disposition of peritoneum above the level of transverse colon at the level of epiploic foramen. This is at the level of epiploic foramen. It is a very interesting topic. Now, very simple, the entire peritoneum from anterior abdominal wall will be reflected posteriorly. Remember, we have discussed this in the vertical tracing of peritoneum. The parietal peritoneum from anterior abdominal wall will be directed posteriorly, the parietal peritoneum directed posteriorly in the form of bilaminar sickle shaped fold of peritoneum, and that bilaminar sickle shaped fold of peritoneum will cover the liver. So that fold will be known as falciform ligament. So therefore we start with the falciform ligament which shall cover the entire liver. So this is the falciform ligament which is covering the anterior surface, inferior surface, right lateral surface of the entire liver. And what is falciform ligament? Parietal peritoneum, the fold of parietal peritoneum, double layered fold of parietal peritoneum, or it is called bilaminar fold of parietal peritoneum, which is reflected from anterior abdominal wall posteriorly in the form of a sickle shaped margin. So that sickle shaped margin which is reflected from anterior abdominal wall, the parietal peritoneum, is a bilaminar fold which will be known as falciform ligament, and which will cover the entire liver that we have seen and understood in the vertical tracing of the greater sac, the peritoneum of the greater sac. So therefore it will invest the entire anterior surface, inferior surface and right lateral surface of the liver. Very clear. So therefore now here we shall name this as the falciform ligament. Even these two structures, they are known as the falciform ligament. Now horizontal tracing. We start this bilaminar falciform ligament from the right side. So right side, we are tracing this parietal peritoneum, the right margin of falciform ligament on the anterior abdominal wall. Then it will be reflected on the lateral abdominal wall. It will cover the lateral abdominal wall, anterolateral abdominal wall, lateral abdominal wall, and then it will cover the anterior aspect of the right kidney as well as right suprarenal gland. So this is the parietal peritoneum which is reflected from the right margin of falciform ligament towards the anterior abdominal wall under the diaphragm and in the anterolateral abdominal wall. It will be reflected, it will be lining the anterolateral abdominal wall, continuous lining. Then it will be reflected posteriorly in front of the right kidney. In front of right kidney, then it will be continuous in front of inferior vena cava. So here it is continuous in front of inferior vena cava. The peritoneum is continuous in front of peritoneum anterior to inferior vena cava. At this particular point, remember, at this particular point, this peritoneum will form the posterior wall of epiploic foramen. So therefore, if I put an arrow over here, this will be known as the epiploic foramen. This arrow is the epiploic foramen. Our parietal peritoneum, horizontal disposition, as it is lining anterolateral body wall, it will cover the anterior surface of the right kidney and suprarenal gland, and then it will cover the inferior vena cava. So this peritoneum will be continuous with the peritoneum in front of inferior vena cava, where it forms posterior wall or posterior margin of epiploic foramen. Now it is very interesting. What happens to this portion will be, now this peritoneum, as it covers the inferior vena cava, it will become continuous with omental bursa. It will become continuous with omental bursa. Change of color. Here I have put yellow color. So from here it is continuous with the peritoneum lining omental bursa. Peritoneum lining omental bursa. It is continuous with the peritoneum lining omental bursa. We leave this at this place. We will come and join this once again. Now we come to the lever once again. Back to the lever. Back to the lever once again. Greater sac, parietal peritoneum. When we trace the left layer of the falciform ligament, once again, this is the parietal peritoneum, the left layer of falciform ligament on the anterior abdominal wall. Now if we trace on the lateral side, it will cover the anterolateral aspect of the, entire abdominal wall. So this is the parietal peritoneum which is covering the anterolateral body wall. It is lining the anterolateral body wall. This is the parietal peritoneum of greater sac. On the left side, we started from the left margin of falciform ligament. Then it will cover the anterolateral body wall. It will pass posteriorly. Posteriorly, just like the right side, here on the left side, it will then cover the anterolateral surface of the left kidney. Here it is covering the anterolateral surface of the left kidney. After covering the anterolateral surface of the left kidney, remember it is continuous, it is very interesting. Concentrate here, it will be very interesting to understand this and also very important. So after covering the anterolateral surface of left kidney, this layer now will become the posterior layer of lienorenal ligament. Now here, if I put this circle over here, and if I name this as lienorenal ligament, I will explain what is lienorenal ligament in the last. But this left layer of parietal peritoneum, as we are reflecting, covering the anterior lateral surface of left kidney, then it becomes the posterior layer of lienorenal ligament. And this posterior layer of lienorenal ligament will be attaching to the posterior lip of the hilum of the spleen, where my finger is there. So it will attach to the posterior lip of the hilum of the spleen. And after attaching to posterior lip of the hilum of the spleen, the same parietal peritoneum that when it continues as the posterior layer of lienorenal ligament getting attached to the posterior lip of the hilum of the spleen, it will invest the spleen completely. Here it is investing the spleen completely. Here it is investing the spleen completely. So it will encapsulate the spleen completely. And then it will come to the anterior lip of the hilum of the spleen, where my finger is there. Anterior lip of the hilum of the spleen. At the anterior lip of hilum of spleen, it becomes continuous as, see here, it becomes continuous as anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. Anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. So here, I will mention this as gastrosplenic ligament. This also I will explain in the end. As it continues as anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament, it will pass to the fundus of the stomach. After passing to the fundus of the stomach, it will then cover the stomach, antero-superior surface of stomach. See here, it is covering the antero-superior surface of the stomach. After covering antero-superior surface of the stomach, it will come to the lesser curvature, where my finger is there, lesser curvature of the stomach. At the lesser curvature of stomach, it will form anterior layer of lesser omentum. Remember, lesser omentum has two layers. So here, this layer becomes continuous as anterior layer of lesser omentum. As it continues as anterior layer of lesser omentum, here I will give the name on this side. This is visible. So anterior layer of lesser omentum. Now as it continues on the right side, it will form the right free margin of lesser omentum around three structures. What are those three structures? They are, the three structures will be portal vein, then there will be hepatic artery. I will just form, this is the hepatic artery. Then here there will be portal vein on this side, and there will be bile duct. So these are the three structures: hepatic artery, bile duct and portal vein. And then it will form the right free margin around it. It will form the right free margin around it, and that right free margin, once again I will use the green color. As it forms the right free margin around these three structures, portal vein, hepatic artery and bile duct, at this particular point, it will become continuous with posterior layer of lesser omentum. It becomes continuous with posterior layer of lesser omentum. And this posterior layer of lesser omentum, now change of color, this will become posterior layer of lesser omentum. So here it becomes continuous with posterior layer, and we shall name this as the posterior layer of lesser omentum. So therefore, now, number one, the anterior layer of lesser omentum. Number two, its right free margin around these three structures, and its continuation as the posterior layer of lesser omentum. Together, this entire structure will form anterior wall or anterior margin of epiploic foramen. So remember, epiploic foramen, it is foramen of Winslow. It is also known as foramen of Winslow, or it is called the adductus to lesser sec. It is the foramen which will communicate lesser sec, where my hand is there, the omental bursa or lesser sec, with cavity of greater sec. And this epiploic foramen will have anterior and posterior walls, or anterior and posterior margin. The anterior boundary or anterior margin or anterior wall of epiploic foramen is formed by, now we can understand, it is formed by the reflection of the anterior layer of lesser omentum as right free margin of lesser omentum around these three structures, portal vein, hepatic artery, bile duct, and this right free margin will continue as the posterior layer of lesser omentum. Together this will form the anterior margin or anterior wall of epiploic foramen. What is the posterior wall of epiploic foramen? that we have understood previously, the reflection of the right side of the parietal peritoneum lining the right kidney and in front of inferior vena cava. This parietal peritoneum will form the posterior wall of epiploic foramen or posterior margin of epiploic foramen. Now, here, since the posterior layer of lesser omentum will now become the peritoneum lining the lesser omentum, peritoneum lining the omental bursa. How does it become? This posterior wall of lesser omentum, where my finger is there, the posterior wall of lesser omentum will be reflected on the posterior inferior surface of the stomach. It will be reflected on the entire posterior inferior surface of the stomach. And then on the left side, it will continue towards the spleen. And here, as it continues towards the spleen, this peritoneum lining the omental bursa, now this is the omental bursa or lesser sac. Omental bursa or it is lesser sac. So here this peritoneum, which is now lining the posterior inferior surface of the stomach, it is also the peritoneum lining omental bursa. It will be reflected towards the spleen as posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. So this becomes which layer? The posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. And this was already the anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament, which we have previously discussed. This is the posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. It becomes continuous. From the spleen, it will be reflected back to the anterior surface of left kidney. As it is reflected back to the anterior surface of the left kidney, here I will join, it becomes, what does it become? A part of this ligament. And this ligament is lieno-renal ligament. So therefore, now this peritoneum, as it is reflected on the anterior surface of left kidney, it will become anterior layer of lieno-renal ligament. So here this will become anterior layer of lieno-renal ligament. And already this was the posterior layer of lieno-renal ligament. Previously we had reflected. And then after forming the anterior layer of lieno-renal ligament, it will continue with the peritoneum where we had ended. And then we come across to the anterior surface of the inferior vena cava where it is continuous with the peritoneum lining the greater sac. And in front, this portion, open portion, is epiploic foramen. So therefore epiploic foramen is a foramen which will communicate the cavity of omental bursa or cavity of lesser sac into with that of the greater sac. And this entire cavity here is the cavity of greater sac. But this much is the cavity of lesser sac. Now what we have understood, very interesting, this topic is very interesting. On the right side, where we had reflected the ligament on the right side, that is the falciform ligament as parietal peritoneum. This parietal peritoneum is reflected on the right side, covering the right anterolateral body wall. And then we came across the anterior surface of right kidney and anterior to inferior vena cava, where it becomes continuous with omental bursa. What about left side? On the left side, the parietal peritoneum is covering the anterolateral surface of the anterior abdominal wall, coming on the anterolateral surface of the left kidney, and then it forms the posterior layer of lieno-renal ligament. Then it will enclose the spleen. After enclosing the spleen, it becomes the anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. Then it covers the anterior surface of stomach till lesser curvature. Then it becomes anterior layer of lesser omentum. Then it forms the right free margin, and then it is continuous with the posterior layer of lesser omentum. From here, it becomes the peritoneum lining the omental bursa or peritoneum lining the lesser sac. From here it will cover the posterior surface of stomach. Then it is reflected as the, which layer now here? Posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. From posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament it becomes the anterior layer of lieno-renal ligament, and then back again it is continuous here in front of inferior vena cava. So therefore, change of color, wherever we have this yellow color, starting from here, part of the lesser omentum, till the inferior vena cava, the peritoneum in front of inferior vena cava, this much peritoneum where my finger is there is derived from lesser sac, or it is the parietal peritoneum lining the lesser sac. Peritoneum for the lesser sac or peritoneum derived from lesser sac. And that includes which portion of gastrosplenic ligament? Posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament from, that is the parietal peritoneum or peritoneum derived from lesser sac. That layer is derived from lesser sac, omental bursa, the posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. And here, this is the anterior layer of linorenal ligament where my finger is there, and that becomes, that is the peritoneum derived from lesser sac. And what about greater sac? The entire green color is the greater sac, the peritoneum lining the greater sac, which includes the peritoneum lining the greater sac, which includes the posterior layer of linorenal ligament and anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament. How beautiful it is there, the entire reflection of peritoneum. And therefore, this epiploic foramen serves as an important foramen which will communicate the entire cavity of lesser sac or omental bursa with greater sac. And through this diagram, if we understand, we can see very easily, very simple way, we are able to understand how the entire peritoneum lining the greater sac will be continuous, at what points it will be continuous with the peritoneum lining the lesser sac. Now we come to gastrosplenic and linorenal ligaments. Remember, these two ligaments need to be discussed in this topic because these two ligaments form an important structure at the level of epiploic foramen. Basically, these two ligaments, they are part of spleen. First we discuss gastrosplenic ligament, but before that, the gastrosplenic and linorenal ligaments, you can pronounce even linorenal ligament or linorenal. So gastrosplenic and linorenal ligaments are also known as pedicles of the spleen. They are called pedicles of the spleen. Now gastrosplenic ligament is a peritoneal fold only. It is a peritoneal fold, but it is consisting of two layers, anterior and posterior layer. And it will connect fundus of the stomach with that of the anterior lip of the hilum of the spleen. Now, this gastrosplenic ligament will have two layers, anterior and posterior. The anterior layer is derived from greater sac and posterior layer is derived from lesser sac. We have understood that. We can see the peritoneal linings. That is what we have understood previously. Now, this question is asked in a lot of MCQs or 1 mark question answers or viva. The anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament is derived from peritoneum lining the greater sac, and posterior layer of the gastrosplenic ligament is derived from peritoneum lining the lesser sac. Please note down. Now, linorenal ligament. The linorenal ligament again is a peritoneal fold, and it consists of two layers. Like gastrosplenic, here also linorenal consists of two layers. It will connect anterior surface of left kidney with that of the posterior lip of the hilum of the spleen. Posterior lip of the hilum of the spleen. And anterior layer of linorenal ligament will be derived from lesser sac. It is the peritoneum lining the lesser sac, and posterior layer of linorenal ligament will be derived from peritoneum of greater sac. This is very important. So therefore, we now know that posterior layer of linorenal ligament will be continuous as anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament after enclosing the entire spleen. And both of them, posterior layer of linorenal ligament and anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament, both of them are derived from greater sac. Whereas posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament and anterior layer of linorenal ligament, both are derived from lesser sac. Very important. And lastly, the two layers of gastrosplenic ligament, these two layers, caudally, they are continuous with the first and second layer of greater omentum. The two layers of linorenal ligament, these two, caudally, they are continuous with third and fourth layers of greater omentum. So here, this is the horizontal disposition of greater sac, the peritoneum lining greater sac above the transverse colon at the level of epiploic foramen. And in this, the main focus, the main point is gastrosplenic and lienorenal. It's two layers. How these two layers are derived and from which portion of the peritoneum, either lining greater sac or lesser sac, they are derived from, and how the greater sac lining becomes continuous with the lining of lesser sac. This is the lining of lesser sac and remaining the greater sac. And please note down the two layers of gastrosplenic ligament, how they are derived from which all portions they are derived from, either greater sac or lesser sac, and renal ligament. Always remember that posterior layer of renal ligament is continuous with anterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament, both are derived from greater sac, and posterior layer of gastrosplenic ligament is continuous with anterior layer of lienorenal ligament, and both of them are derived from lesser sac or omental bursa. Other name of lesser sac is omental bursa. So here we end our topic. Thank you very much.